Hello, assalamu alaikum, good morning, khush aamdeed, ji ayanu, goeiemorgen.
Pakhairagele, ni hao, tuna shumme, washmale, ohio gonzaimes, guten morgen, hola, bonjour, privyet, kaifa hal, hale shuma chatore, ahlan wasalan, marhaba, buna, mucho, gracias, swabiab, and a very amazing good morning to everybody who's tuned into PTB World and are watching World this morning alongside the very fantastic, the very energetic, the very good looking Shiza Hashmi and Shahzad Khan. Hello Shiza, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great, thank you so much for asking. I feel a little chilly. What about you?
Well, I was feeling a little chilly too as well. So, ladies and gentlemen, hey, it is. I think that in Islamabad, people should actually be wearing pullovers or sweaters for that matter as well. That's why I actually got one for myself as well. I was like, you know, it is a little chilly, so it's better to protect yourself.
And it's dry winter because it's not even raining yet. So,
yeah,
well,
thank you very much for saying that because I never noticed that it
Oh,
wasn't
come on.
raining. But how has your morning been so far?
Morning's been good. I've had 2 cups of coffee already, so, well, things are on track. What about you?
Well, I think I'm having a great morning as well, and just like every other day, you know, when I tell you that, you know, on days when I wear jeans and, you know, t-shirts,
Oh, yeah, the feel is different.
Yeah, the feel is very different rather than wearing a suit. You know, you're just booked into it, and you're like, okay, you know, hey, you know, and the way you talk to other people is very full of etiquettes as well. But with jeans, you know, you can be a little rowdy, which we do not want to be. But then at the same time, I think I'm going to start with a wonderful message today, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, wherever you may probably be in different parts of the world, we hope and pray that everybody is doing wonderfully fine.
Yes.
And that they're dedicated towards their goal and that every single day they're making effort towards it.
Yeah.
That's wonderful, and I think that's something important as well. But other than that, I wanted to talk about self-care.
Let's do it.
You know, when we talk about self-care, ladies and gentlemen, self-care for me is not getting into an argument with somebody who's always dedicated to kind of misunderstand you. Because, you know, there are certain people in your life who, no matter what you do for them, no matter what you say to them, they are always there to make sure that they're going to think otherwise, that they're going to do otherwise, and they will try to get under your skin. So this is self-care, first of all, not to get into an argument with somebody who's always willing to misunderstand you.
Absolutely, yes. That is one aspect of it. I totally do agree with you. Because, of course,
I mean,
when
for
you
example, wives, I'm sorry that I have to say that, but yeah, they are destined to misunderstand you. Yeah, don't do that. Or probably husbands for that matter as well, yeah.
Well, okay, yeah, generically speaking, I mean, if you are actually living with someone for that long, naturally there are misunderstandings, but the same
Even
is
our
not the
guest is
case.
smiling.
We'll ask them about it as well. But here's the thing, Shazad, I think you absolutely were right in terms of, you know, how you should love yourself before actually loving anyone else. And that is actually what makes sense too.
Yeah.
Because when you know your worth, when you know what you deserve, when you know that you do not deserve someone else misunderstanding you and then, you know, picking up an argument, like you said, or probably ruining your mental peace, or probably just pushing you down from wherever you are, you do not need those people. So know your worth before you actually, well, I want to say choose people for your company, or actually choose people to invest in. It's very important to self-love before loving anything
But someone
else.
who does not love him or herself in the first place, ladies and gentlemen, I don't think that he or she can actually love somebody else.
Yeah, it's true.
And
yes.
it's like this. I'm going to give you a very brief example. So it's like this. For example, if there's somebody who needs to have medicine at probably 12 at night, you know, and he or she is very sleepy and he or she cannot get up and they miss out on their medicine, that's not self-love. Self-love is you getting up, making sure that you can go down or wherever that medicine is, get it, fill a glass of water and just have it whatever time it is. But if, God forbid, if you're going to miss out on that, ladies and gentlemen, that's not self-love. You need to look after yourself. You need to pamper yourself. You need to get things done for yourself as well so that you feel happy, so that you feel accomplished, so that you feel that you've done something for yourself. And once you have this ambition of doing something for yourself, this ambition will multiply and you will do things for other people as well.
That is, again, very brilliantly put as well.
Thank you.
And you know, Shazad, self-love is also investing in the goals that you have set for yourself.
Yeah.
How often does it happen that you might share something, one of your ideas or one of your aspirations with someone and they're like, yaar, tu nahi kar sakta. Like, rehne do, hum Pakistan mein, Pakistan mein aise hi hota. You know, there are hundreds of people who are willing and ready to put you down. But maybe just one of them who's actually going to tell you, you know what, you can actually achieve that. But before that one person, you have to be the one who has to realize that, you know what, if this is my goal, I have to go about it. And luckily, we've actually been joined by someone today who did set his goals quite high and went achieving them, which is brilliant. And now he's an inspiration to so many people. Thus, he's on the show here, ready to inspire us and all of you and share his story as well. well.
Exactly. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's just like the days when we actually had one of the band members from Guns N' Roses as well over here in the studios
Oh
with
my
us.
God, where was I?
So today, yeah. Well, you joined, I
Later?
think probably later on as
Oh.
well. But he was here as well. Ronthal Bumblefoot was his name. But today, I think marks another day as well. But not just that. I think that we were even joined by the nephew of Michael Jackson
Oh, yeah,
over
yeah,
here
I
on the
was
show
here.
as well. But today, ladies and gentlemen, we're very lucky that we've actually been joined by an executive producer of 5 Hollywood films. He's over here with us, and his origin is Pakistani as well. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're very lucky that we've actually been joined by Mr. Habib Paracha, who happens to be a filmmaker and entrepreneur as well. And he's got his own company with the name of Centurion Entertainment. Hello, Assalamu Alaikum, good morning. How are you? Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. Good morning.
Good morning.
It's wonderful to have you, ladies and gentlemen. But namely, I'm going to actually tell you, which films we're talking about. So, for number one, we're talking about The Trust, which actually had Nicolas Cage and Elijah Wood in it as
Wow.
well. Then we were talking about Terminal. Then we were talking about Strive. Then we were talking about The Last Fall, Measure, and then
Hard kill.
Hard Kill, Bruce Willis. Wow. So we will definitely
Brilliant.
be sharing trailers and promos of these films as well. But today, ladies and gentlemen, we will be in conversation with this gentleman and we'll ask him how did he go about his goals. But before we do that,
Okay,
I think
let's
here's the trailer of Hard Kill. Take a look. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was Hard Kill, and even our producer is so excited that
I
he's
know,
actually
thrilling.
literally I just got a shrill voice in my ear as well, which was very hard. But Mr. Habib Paracha,
Yeah.
first of all, I would love to congratulate you. I mean, not 1, not 2, not 3, but 5 films, and you happen to be the executive producer, and all the way from Hollywood today over here in Islamabad. I think it's a great deal for us and for all the people out there as well. And it is because, ladies and gentlemen, that now he's determined to work with all of those people from Hollywood and Pakistan, make a film and project what Pakistani cinema is all about. But before we do that,
Yeah, I'm so sorry. I have so many
It's all
questions
right,
to
go
begin
ahead.
with. So, of course, we need to talk about the collaboration that, of course, you have in store. But I'm going to take you back in time
Sure.
to where you first thought that, hey, maybe I can be a filmmaker. And then you reached Hollywood, and then you got a chance, and then, well, you ended up making 5 films.
Right.
Well, what was the story?
Well, honestly, like when I started, I had no idea where it's going to go.
Okay.
You don't start out with exactly knowing where your goal is going to be
Right.
because it's not something I studied.
Yeah.
Started out with the first one, that was in 2014, and realized the significance and importance of film and how big an impact it can make. So I, kind of
You
started.
enjoyed it?
I enjoyed it, of course. I enjoyed the limelight and everything as well.
Right.
And then I said, why not carry on and see where it goes, develop it.
Okay.
By the second one, I was realizing the importance that it can have in Pakistan in terms of, how I can play my part in the industry here, and hoping to do that with my first movie.
Right.
Well, that's wonderful. But
yeah.
you know what? I think at this very moment, what we want you to do is to express fully.
Sure.
And, kind of let people know, how was it back in 2014? How did you get this opportunity
Sure.
to be an executive producer for a Hollywood film? Over here in Pakistan, a producer is somebody who's going to put in all the money.
Yeah.
Over there in Hollywood, is it any different or is it the same?
It's a mixed bag. Like obviously money plays a part, like anywhere. But you have access to financing, depending on who's attached to the script, who the other producers are, who's selling it, and all of that. And generally, the content there is produced for an international audience,
Yeah.
right? So because Hollywood, it's synonymous with building out that pro-Western ideology globally.
Yeah.
So you have international sales agents who are going to pre-buy the movie, and that that helps us with the financing
Yeah.
quite a bit. So
Well, that does make sense. But here's the thing, I don't know how to explain this or, how to actually make sense of it. But when we're coming from, when we're going from Pakistan to Hollywood, and you think of ideas, or because of the cultural background and because of how you've been brought up, you are not on the same, resonating frequency with the producers of Hollywood,
Right.
naturally. And you're a youth going for the first time in the film industry. So how did you guys how were you guys on the same page, and how did it happen? Were you just like, you know what, I need a chance, let me prove myself, and then they let it
How
happen?
did you synergize?
the first one, honestly, I think you guys are right on the money, because I said, okay, I have this chance, I'm going to take it.
Right,
Yeah.
of course.
Right? And after that, of course, first one in, there was so many scripts coming my way, and my email, because I had my information on IMDb, so people started flooding my email
Nice.
with scripts and different collaboration possibilities, and that's where I had to start picking and choosing. That because there's only so much I can do time-wise as well. Each script needs a a thorough read.
course.
So what I ended up doing is I chose on the basis of who are some of the people I really want to work with in the industry, especially in terms of actors and actresses. So Margot was, I was a
Of
big fan
course.
myself, and I distinctly recall like me meeting her in LA in 2016,
Yeah.
and we went for lunch, and I was strictly told,
Yeah.
do not ask for any photos,
Aw.
right? Because, I mean, that's typical of, as a Pakistani, when you meet someone like that, because it's like,
It's the first thing that comes to your mind.
it's the first thing, because like, I'm going to tell people back home and no one's going to believe
Yeah,
it. They'll be
pictures
like,
or it didn't
"Jhoot bol raha hai." So, but then of course, worked on the movie together, and we were on set together. Ended up becoming friends with
Nice.
herself and her husband as well.
Okay.
And then, at the premiere, of course, we had two premieres for that one. One was in LA and the other one was in London. So,
So you're basically living the American dream now, I think.
Well-
am I right if I say that?
I wouldn't say the American dream because I'm not American, I'm Pakistani.
Or a
And
Pakistani living in America, fulfilling the American dream?
I go there for work.
Wow.
I do about 4 months there in a year, and the rest of the time I'm between Pakistan and Europe.
It's wonderful. And now there's one more thing which I would love to ask from you is, obviously there's the best thing about Hollywood films is that there's no music, there's no songs.
Right.
Nobody's dancing right next to the
Right.
mountains
Right.
and whatsoever.
Right.
So it's straight that, okay, this is what it is about and that's how we're going to go about it.
Storytelling is
That's
amazing.
wonderful. But now when you come down to Pakistan and you've worked with actors like Nicolas Cage, Bruce Willis, Joe Starr and Samuel L. Jackson as well. The expectation is really high, and these people, when we talk about them, they are the people who have craft at their hand as well. You tell them this and that's done. Over here in Pakistan, it's hit and trial, hit and trial, hit and trial, and fortunately you will be able to get your hands onto somebody whom you think, okay, he can probably or she can do what I want them to do. Now when you're coming down to Pakistan, what kind of a mix are we looking at? Are we going to look at Bruce Willis or probably Shahzad Khan working together or something of that sort?
Well, for the first project that I have in mind, what I'm doing is I'm bringing in the crew from there, the core crew, which is the director, the DP, as well as the stunt coordinator.
Wow.
Brilliant.
Because I think those are things where we can have some improvement over here, and in a collaborative setting, it will help improve the local crew as well, and it will also help the acting talent to improve their skill by working with such people.
Exactly.
Of course.
So, taking people from here over there way harder, way harder, because it has to be a fit, and whether we like it or not, we do get stereotyped. Simply because
Yes.
it's
And
the
we
market.
don't like it, but yeah, you're right.
That's the reality of
Yeah.
it. I mean, you can't expect to go into someone else's territory and say, we are going to determine how it's going
That's
to be.
true.
Yeah.
That's true.
What you can do is you can bring certain elements from there, incorporate it into your environment,
Exactly.
and grow from that.
That's mindful. But now here's the thing. I want your insight on this, a genuine one actually. So I'm pretty sure you've been watching Pakistani movies lately, especially in this recent decade. They're brilliant. I mean, they are improving. I love the cinematography, if that's how we pronounce
Yeah,
it.
that's what it is.
Absolutely love watching them. Storyline, I always don't like it. And I'm sorry for saying it, I don't. So what are the things to point out where you think that we can improve?
And before you answer, let me
Right.
ask her as well. Why don't you like the storyline? I mean,
I don't know how to say this. I'm not going to name it, but okay. So you know what? We'll talk about it in a bit. But you go ahead first.
Well, I think you've hit the nail on the head, honestly. The major issue comes to the stories, script writing.
It's so dragged.
And one of the main reasons for that is if you look at it, in Urdu or English, there aren't too many critically acclaimed writers. Creative writing courses are not that many, especially in Urdu. And our mother language is Urdu, right? And we don't have as such. So, in America, for example, you have the New York Times bestseller list, and you can pick a lot of those books end up becoming movies.
Right.
They get turned into screenplays and they're movies. Locally, we don't have that. So it becomes very difficult to get content which can very easily be replicated onto into a movie.
But do you think it's also sort of vice versa? Like maybe we have brilliant writers, we know some, right? But because of what the audience can only take, there's only a certain genre they're going to explore.
I think audiences will take as long as there's a plausible storyline and as long as it's entertaining.
Okay.
Given the realistic circumstances that we all live in Pakistan, I think a lot of people don't want to see overly morose and sad stories.
That's true, actually, yeah.
It's too
Exactly, but you know, when we're talking about a mix of Hollywood and Lollywood, I think that you're still actually looking at a larger international market, because you know the teams coming from over there as well. You know, you happen to be an executive producer for 5 Hollywood films. So, you know, there'll be a lot of international promoters looking for you and vouching for you as well.
Right.
So to judge that the kind of content which you'll be getting yourself into is something which is going to develop your market for the near future.
Right.
So, you know, what kind of content do you have in your head? Because over in Pakistan, there are 2 kinds of films which
Right.
have been a hit. For example, War, you know, it's all about fight and army and, you
Right.
know, patriotism and nationalism. And then there is Jawani Phir Nahi Aani.
Right.
You know, you go crazy, or probably Hangover Part 3 or 4.
Yeah,
you
there's
know,
a
you know,
formula.
that's the kind of content everybody's going to see. So what do you have in your
So
head?
for my first project, which I'm working on, it's still in script development. The idea is to do it action comedy.
Okay.
Not really buddy, but it's going to be like, say, Mission Impossible style.
Okay.
Hard to pull off because it hasn't really been done here, but want to show
It's
some
always the first
collaboration
time.
with the Chinese, some collaboration with our friends from Turkey.
Yeah.
So want to do a mixed cast with mostly Pakistanis and some people from these territories.
And you don't have to look any further because you have 2 of the cast members over there.
But you know what?
yeah.
I think that you're right, and it's because of the fact that Ali Zafar did give it a try as well, just very recently
Right.
as well. You know, the film which came out.
It was entertaining, to be honest.
It was entertaining, and there was action in it, and you know they went on to a few abroad locations as
Right.
well, and it was well received by the audiences, and it did well,
Yeah.
even though that there was a case going against Ali Zafar as well. I don't know whether people say that, you know, it might have been a marketing strategy, but it wasn't, because now they're going back to going back against Misha Shafi as well, and for all of those people who were ill mouthing when, you know, the entire case was going on. So is that why you've picked up on this kind of genre?
No, Ali's actually a friend. I'm not going to make any comments on any of that. But you know, I looked at the overall market and I realized we have a very young demographic.
Yeah.
So what is it that they like to watch, and what are the international movies that are coming into Pakistan that
Exactly.
have the highest traction? So you know, like movies like Avengers, John Wick, you know, even the Bond series,
Yeah,
things
yeah.
like that. So if you can give them that escapism in a movie, you know, ideally that's really good. It has a flow through.
Exactly.
Some sort of heroes, building some sort of a role model kind of scenario. That's what the goal is. you
Which
know.
reminds me of Battleship. Have you seen Battleship?
I have.
Yeah, Battleship is a film, ladies and gentlemen, which I've watched like 4 or 5 times, and every time I'm done watching that film, I feel like as if I'm a hero myself and I need to do something great for my country as well. So you're very right. You know, this is the kind of passion people do have over
Right.
here.
Yeah, absolutely. And so here's the thing, this is my favorite question, and I'm so excited to ask this. If I'd ask you right now to build a dream collaboration with the cast and your favorite director, or just who would it be?
That's a
Too early to
loaded
say.
question, I think, at this point.
I
I think it's a
mean,
loaded question
I'm
because
pretty
I know a
sure
lot
you-
of people in the industry, so
Yeah.
it's going to be like, you know, honestly, I think that the right way to look at it is that whoever is best suited based on the role. One has to be fair to the craft. One has to cast according to the role.
Absolutely.
And people who are going to be able to carry that character rather than, personal
I
likes
get
and
it.
Since,
dislikes.
you know, collaborations with directors.
That was a
you know,
safe
this-
answer, though.
You know, this question is not going to be asked like this. So it's going to be like asked like this, you know. So do you think that, you know, you'll be collaborating with Mr. S. and Rahim, Suhail Javed,
I was talking
Wajahat
Hollywood,
Rauf,
but
for all of
yes.
these people? Who do
Vajat's
you-
a friend.
Yeah.
I have not met Essen, but these are these guys are more on the production and
Yes,
directing side.
Jami, for that matter.
that is a director, I
Exactly.
believe. I'm bringing the director in from abroad,
All right.
and the reason I'm doing that, I mean, some people will say up local, but the fact is, look, if you want to, grow the industry, you got to do those collaborations.
Exactly.
They're going to.
Absolutely.
Everyone has their own networks.
Yeah.
When I bring a guy from there, he's going to bring in his own network. He's going to bring in his own skill set, and it doesn't take away from our local people. It's just that, we are integrating more the international into the local. And
Yeah.
And I truly agree to that. I think this needs to be done as well, because I've shot for like 2-3 commercials, and the DPs actually traveled all the way from probably Bangkok or elsewhere from other parts of the country, which is fine. But there has been this longer debate now, and since PTV actually started to televise Arturul, the Urdu dubbed version, each and every other actor had a problem with that.
Right.
But all of those actors didn't had a problem because they were working first of all, for those private channels who were actually airing those Turkish dramas as well. Nobody spoke about them. So, obviously, once you start or you take initiative and you start with this project, there will be debates about how, this collaboration is going to work. But what will be your message to all of those people who are out there, probably from Pakistan as well, that, hey, you know what? If you guys go somewhere and work over there, it's fine. But if somebody comes over here, that's not fine. What is your take on this?
I think, honestly, I mean, it was the Prime Minister's initiative that he did this. And I think he was it was a very good initiative, because what it's done is it's also kind of flipped the industry on its head and made people realize that other kinds of content is acceptable to our audience. It's a matter of making good content, good storylines, even if it's historic. It works. And the people who are criticizing it for, lack of opportunities or whatever it may be, I think, improve your content. Really.
Absolutely true. And you know what? You're right. It broadened the horizons for so many people. But then, I came across a Pakistani version of, adaptation of Artugrul rather, in an ad and then in a short film.
Come on.
It's good, we're trying, but again...
I actually wanted to say this to Alizi as well. I mean, you
didn't have to name it, man.
You should have given it a second thought as well. Why in the first place people want to copy the content, rather create your own.
But here's the thing. But you know what I always say about this particular thing? Project Ghazi came in, right? I didn't watch the movie, I watched the trailers. Again, the storyline was missing, but it was brilliant to look at. I loved that people we know from Pakistan were portraying such brilliant roles. But no one watched it. Pakistani people don't like to watch Pakistani superheroes. You know what I'm saying?
I think, look, again, because we're not there.
Are we putting you under the spot?
No, you're not. It's fine. The thing is that you have to build it up slowly. If you're going to take it from zero to hero immediately, it's going to be really difficult, because we're not used to seeing characters like that. Whereas we do look at celebrities, local celebrities, as role models and heroes to a degree, because of the Instagram following and all of that. And if you read some of the comments and all that, how people react to it, they do look at these people as role models. To convert that into a full-fledged hero is a little difficult. Like, in the US, you have Captain America, or you have Iron Man, and like those are really, really cool characters.
Thor, for that matter.
Thor, Thor's a bit supernatural, right? So I'm talking about the ones who don't have any supernatural powers. So that's the first step. Right? Because we're not used to seeing
Captain America does not die, man. What's more supernatural?
No, but he's, he has that shield thing, right? He ages, but the thing is, like, again, he doesn't have, if he gets hit with a bullet, he's going to get hit. I get your point, So, our audience is not used to seeing aliens and stuff like that. So, we have to build up first to that stage, and after that, you can start exploring more...
Right, I get
more
it.
unique.
And you know what, Mr. Habib, I happen to know a lot of people who are brilliant visual artists and are probably working from films outside the country. And I hope and wish that with your vision and with the work that you're bringing in, we can actually employ Pakistani brilliant minds within Pakistan. Well, I hope we see that happening, right?
I hope, in fact, if there are some good writers and other people who are interested, because my goal is, once I'm ready for the movie, I'm going to be having, inshallah, open castings.
Nice.
I want to bring in even new talent, especially for smaller roles. Perhaps I can't do, because that's the way to give new local talent a chance.
Exactly.
And why not? The bigger the pie, the bigger the overall
outcome. Let's say.
Yeah, that's how our industry will grow.
And that's wonderful. Thank you very much, Mr. Habib Paracha, for being with us. It was very fortunate for us that you actually took out time and you came over here on the show as well and shared what you had in your mind as well and your heart. And thank you very much for fulfilling this responsibility call which you had for yourself as well, that you're going to do a collaborative stuff for Pakistan and Hollywood and make sure that you're going to project the south side of Pakistan as well. Thank you very much once again. If there's anything you want to say, we still have time.
Sure. Look, my goal is very simple. I want to put Pakistan on the map. I want to show our local culture. I want to show develop our local industry as much as I can, play my part in it. And honestly, we have not had a chance to be shown in the right light globally. and I hope I can do my part to overcome those hurdles
Wonderful.
and
Absolutely.
do what I can.
And we wish you best of luck, and we promise you that every time you are here, and if you need any kind of assistance from PTV World, we'll be right here as well. Thank you very
Thank
much,
you.
Mr. B. Paracha, for being with us. Ladies and gentlemen, we were in conversation with an executive producer for 5 Hollywood films who's actually planning to make a film over here in Pakistan, which will be in collaboration with people from Hollywood as well. Wow, wonderful it looks to me.
We love to be in conversation with, and we love to celebrate people who are actually bringing good name to Pakistan, and painting even a better picture or
Exactly.
portrait of Pakistan across the globe as well. And this is what we're going to do in the next segment too. Stay tuned to find out what. Good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome back to Well This Morning, ladies and gentlemen, with today the very energetic Shahzad
Yeah.
Khan and Shahzad Hashmi. We hope and pray that your morning is going great. And as I always mention, PTV has a responsibility, and we actually took up the responsibility as well, since we're the face of the channel too, to celebrate Pakistanis who are bringing good name to Pakistan, who are actually, presenting a softer image of Pakistan across the globe as well, and then making people believe that Pakistanis can actually do anything, and there are literally no boundaries. Thus, this is what we're doing again in this segment. We're going to be in conversation with one of a very brilliant Pakistani minds who is empowering the business community in a way that we didn't think people could.
Exactly, and it's all because of the fact that, ladies and gentlemen, life's changing every single second, every single minute, and every single year. Life's changing, technology's changing, and people are coming up with newer ideas. There are newer avenues to generate revenue as well. And that is what we're focusing on today. A lot of people have heard about Google Ads, but a lot of people might not have heard about Amazon and FBA as well, which is probably what it is something which needs to be illustrated upon by the guest over here as well. But very quickly, I think, ladies and gentlemen, with these changing trends, for all of those people who've been asking people that, how can we actually have a business and just be at home and, that everything is being done. So obviously there needs to be a platform, which happens to be Amazon this time around, but while we're having this conversation, how does all of that happen? Because to have a wholesale business, to be an entrepreneur is not that easy. You need to know a few technical things, or you need to have the technical knowledge of how to market your product, how to probably gather that market space, how to be a good marketer online as well, how to spend money, where to spend money, when to spend money.
Let's just
I
ask
think all of these questions are, ladies and gentlemen, over here. This gentleman started actually in 2018, and obviously when we talk about e-commerce, there's a lot to e-commerce. The e-commerce we used to learn about back in, a decade ago was I think the idea is obsolete now.
I
People have
absolutely,
moved on to
yes.
newer technologies. People have moved on to newer platforms. What are those platforms? How can you make money while sitting back at home is something we will be talking about today. And all the questions will be answered by the one and only Mr. Huzaifa Ali. Hello, assalamu alaikum, good morning.
Walaikum assalam.
Huzaifa, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you
It's
for-
wonderful to have you. And the best part, ladies and gentlemen, is that there are other people who were working, but then Huzaifa jumped in, and Huzaifa was like, "Hey, you know what?
Stole the show."
We can actually do bigger businesses over here while sitting in Pakistan at home. We might not have to go anywhere, and even the business can run and make you good profits as well." Huzaifa, what are we talking about? What are these businesses on Amazon? Wholesale business on Amazon?
Yeah, basically, we have cut the process of promoting existing products. Like, we look for products those that are already selling well on Amazon. Is like a multi-billion marketplace, you know.
So when you say we look at products which are already selling, are we talking about FMCG goods?
It's more like also all sort of tangible products that are selling well. We are looking to build businesses on Amazon, and how it works is we look for brands and suppliers whose products are already selling well.
Yeah.
We don't try to reinvent the wheel by like creating the products from scratch or manufacturing them. We don't go for that because such businesses need heavy capitals, you know. So we look. The idea is to start something from small, like small investments and minimum time investments, and based on that we build the bigger businesses. So
Okay, so you're facilitating them initially, basically?
Sorry?
You're not starting from scratch, you're facilitating them initially.
not
Can
really.
you elaborate on the process so it's
Or is it
easier?
more like getting your products made from somewhere else and then selling it on another platform? Or is it like, you know, probably investing that small amount of money onto a merchandise and then selling it online? How does it work?
Okay, so let me start from the beginning.
Sure.
So
Please do that.
how it works is there is a marketplace that's called Amazon.
Yeah.
Now Amazon is available in the US, in the UK, and other European regions and across the world. So what we try to do is there are millions of products already selling on Amazon.
Yeah. And just to answer that as well, ladies and gentlemen, the name Amazon, you know, from A to Z, there's an arrow which actually says that, you know, everything is literally available on Amazon, which is A to Z.
True,
Yeah, go
true.
ahead.
So
didn't know that.
we find those products that are selling well, and if we could source the same products as well, they are third-party brands. We don't really create our own brands right now.
Okay.
So I mean, it's a big business when it comes to creating your own brands. You know, it needs heavy investments. So right now in Pakistan, everyone cannot afford to do that. Now the thing is, let's suppose if somebody wants to invest and start the business, he can start like maybe $2,000, $3,000 US equivalent. So with that idea in mind, you just need to have the knowledge and the skills to how to look at the products and how to source it directly from the supplier.
So what is that knowledge and the skill?
While you answer that also, you know, just adding a little more question for better
He
understanding.
always does.
Yeah, sorry, for my own understanding. So if anyone was to come up to you and be like, hey, this is my product, I want this to be placed on the Amazon for the international audience or customers, is there an eligibility criteria? Are you going to choose, or is anyone welcome to do that? Are you going to guide them through the whole process?
I could guide them through the whole process, but that is not my preference.
Okay.
Like if you are willing to sell something that you have in your country,
Yes.
or maybe you manufacture those products, I don't prefer to sell them because I try to sell what is already selling.
Already selling.
I'm cutting the part of promoting an existing product.
Got it,
Yeah.
got it.
Okay, so you know, working on this model now, for example, if we come down to, for example, let's say Food Panda, because what they do is whatever is already selling, they make sure that, you know, it reaches
Exactly.
your doorstep as well. So that's the business model which is going to replicate it. But then for a product which is already selling, going to that you know, person who's actually making all of those products and telling him, hey, you know what, you're actually selling it for 30 cents, you know, you give it to me for 20 and then, you know, I'll work it out, and you know, the sales will be in a larger volume. Isn't it really hard to convince that particular person because the product is already selling?
Okay, so there are several, by saying several, there are millions of brands who do not sell themselves on Amazon. Let's say about Black & Decker, maybe Adidas shoes, Nike, All these kind of brands, they do not sell on Amazon themselves.
Yeah.
So there are different sellers. Like it's a typical, let's talk about the typical market, like a shop. The shop owner doesn't manufacture the products, most likely. He sources from the local suppliers or the brand directly. That's what we exactly do. Let's say we have a shop on Amazon, that's a store. We store our products in the warehouses of the Amazon marketplace, and Amazon fulfills the order. Like I said, FBA, that is fulfilled by Amazon. So we already have the stock with Amazon in their warehouses, and when there is an order received, Amazon fulfills it. So your or my part is only to source, to find the product and source. That's all. Rest of the business, everything is managed by Amazon. So it's simple.
It's great, and thank you very much for making us understand as well, because we were literally, ladies and gentlemen, laymen at it as well.
Sure.
But very quickly, what I need to ask over here is that, since we will be looking for a product, over here in Pakistan, we have this mindset that, if we can generate the market before the product is even in the market.
True.
I think that's a more secure way of doing business, right? And that's a more secure business model. So do we actually have an opportunity on Amazon where people are asking for products which they might not have gotten their hands on, and if somebody else can get their hands on that particular product, they can still do that?
True, they could do it.
Wow.
The thing is, when you build your audience, you have to invest a lot of money in building the audience. You have to go from different media, different channels like Instagram, Pinterest, Facebook, LinkedIn. So all these stuff is more like, for me, it's like hard work. And then you are driving all the traffic to Amazon. You cannot control Amazon. There are different policies. Amazon can shut down somebody for specific violations. So I don't want to build a business and then I put everything, all my resources to Amazon. If I have to do it, then I would do it on my own website, right? Why should I send
Because
traffic
there's
to
a
Amazon?
lot of footfall on Amazon, no?
Sorry?
There's a lot of footfall on Amazon.
Yeah, exactly. Because there's a lot of guidelines, the policies. You just have to understand. When we teach people, we teach them all the guidelines. We tell them how to do this and that.
So one of the experts, because I happen to have met that gentleman as well, Mr. Sunny Ali as well. He happens to be one of those people who are guiding people with what kind of business models they need to come up with, for Amazon and for other platforms as well. How is your business model different from the one he's working on?
I believe he works on private label model. The same thing I told you, like reinventing the wheel. That needs heavy capital investments. And for me, it's different because, as I said, we start with the lower investments. It's safe. It's very less risky because, as I said, it's Amazon, end of the day. Because the way, if you are reinventing the wheel, that means you are investing a lot of money. And then when it comes to Amazon, there's a lot of violations as well.
All right, Huzaifa, so towards the end, just one thing. Well, you're doing an amazing job, of course. E-commerce is the future, we know that. So right now, take your moment to talk to anyone who's watching right now who's probably running low on ideas or running low on motivation and needs you to talk sense into them that, well, this is how you should go about your business.
So I would just suggest go towards e-commerce Success Pakistan Facebook group, and then from there they can actually get all the awareness programs and start working on this business model.
Wow, wonderful. But very quickly, ladies and gentlemen, because over here in Pakistan, unless you don't know the numbers, it's very hard for you to believe what we're talking about. So if I am to ask, I'm sorry that I'm putting you under the spot.
He's not sorry.
But if I am to ask, what is the net profit your business is generating annually? Because you started in 2018. So what was your net profit?
A single store, let's say if the rolling cycle investment of, let's say, $50,000 US, it looks for like 25 to 30% ROI, that is return on investment. So let's say if your $50,000 actually is invested, you may look for like 12 to 15,000 US dollars in a month be making. If that kind of investment, if it's lower, then
if it is lower, then obviously, but the return on investment is going to be similar in percentage as well. So you increase the money or you decrease the money. That's how
depends on the products you are working as well.
Wow. Okay. So and I think that this is very essential to talk about, because in different regions, online businesses are very different. For example, in England, if you're going to see a piano in a picture which is this big, once it comes to your place, it's going to be this big. But if you're looking at a shoe probably for my size and it says that, hey, this is number 11 or number 12, it comes home, it's number 8. So it's very different, and there are trust issues with with marketeers as well. So how do you think that people can rely on whatever they're ordering for is going to be just the way it looks in the picture? Because over here in Pakistan, we have had these issues quite a lot.
Or is it your duty to make sure that the product is going to be the same?
It's our duty as well, but the main reason of Amazon's success was the customer service. They offer one-click returns to their customers.
Exactly.
So they don't even, I mean, if you're a Amazon customer, you want to say the customer service, hey, I want to return this product. They won't ask you a question. First, they will issue the refund. Then they will say, okay, now let's talk about returning the product. First, you got the refund. So that's how they actually build the trust. So, and according to their policy, we have to follow the same guidelines.
So isn't it damaging to the businesses, for example, your business?
This is the idea in Pakistan, especially when it comes to doing any business, we talk about the losses first.
All right.
But the losses are like 10 to 20%, and that's part of the profit.
Exactly.
So that's how I teach people. So don't worry about that. I mean, it's only like few percent.
Wow, wonderful. Thank you very much, Huzaifah, for being with us and for enlightening us and for making sure that you share the newer avenues of generating money or being a businessman or a business lady as well. Thank you very much. Once again, wonderful. We're very proud of you as well. For everybody who's out there, ladies and gentlemen, from filmmaking to having your own wholesale businesses on Amazon, today was a roller coaster ride for me.
Absolutely it was, and I think that it was also informative, right, for everyone out there, maybe who was missing on ideas on how to go big on their business ventures. Maybe this did help you.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure. And if it did, we would love to hear from you. Do let us know and write us on a Facebook page with the name of...
Well, this morning on your television screens down below, it will be there in a second. Here it is.
On Twitter.
On Twitter, it's World This Morning without a G.
On YouTube.
On YouTube, ladies and gentlemen, you look for PTV World and then the most viewed morning show, which is World This Morning. Shukar Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah. And then the repeat of this show, you can catch
The
that.
repeat will be at 5 past midnight. Till the next time, look after yourselves. Make sure you spread love. Make sure you tell everybody that you look great today. Look after yourselves. 1, 2, 3. Good morning.
Stay safe.